So, let's dive into one of the most incredible engineering marvels you'll ever encounter, your very own blood circulatory system. I mean, it is a non-stop, high-speed delivery network that's working inside you right now, keeping you alive. We're going to take a tour and see exactly how it pulls it off.
No, really, just stop and think about that for a second. From the cells in your brain to the tip of your big toe, you have trillions of tiny living parts that all need food and have to get rid of waste, constantly. How on earth does that happen so perfectly all the time? Well, the answer is kind of beautiful in its complexity.
You know, the best way to wrap your head around it is to picture a massive, bustling city metro system. You've got the trains, you've got the tracks, a central power station, and it's all working in perfect sync, 24/7. And today, you and I are going to get an all-access pass to that entire network.
All right, so first stop on our tour, the trains themselves. We're talking about blood. Now, this isn't just some red liquid sloshing around. Oh no, it's a super complex, living tissue that's jam-packed with essential cargo and a whole crew of specialized passengers, and every single one has a critical job to do.
So, if you were to actually break down your blood into its core components, you'd find it's really two main things. A little over half of it, about 55%, is a liquid called plasma. And the other 45%? That's made up of all the solid stuff, the actual blood cells, which are also called corpuscles.
Let's get a closer look, right? So the plasma, that's kind of like the river itself, this straw-colored fluid that carries everything along for the ride. And then you've got the blood corpuscles. Think of these as the boats and the workers floating down that river. They're the ones doing all the heavy lifting.
And wow, what a crew it is. You've basically got three main teams on the job. First up, you've got the red blood cells. Think of them as the oxygen couriers. Then you have the white blood cells, which are basically the system's security force. And last but not least, you've got the platelets, the emergency repair crew that's always on call.
Now, if you want your mind blown, get this. The scale of this operation is just staggering. To keep all those oxygen deliveries on schedule, your body is churning out an incredible 2 million new red blood cells every single second. That is just an unbelievable number.
So you might be wondering, how do these little couriers actually carry the oxygen? Well, the secret sauce is a special molecule called hemoglobin. It's this iron-based protein that acts like a powerful little magnet for oxygen. It snags it in the lungs, holds on tight, and then lets it go wherever it's needed in the body.
Okay, next up is our security team, the white blood cells. These guys are the guardians of your body, the first responders to any kind of trouble. And unlike the red blood cells, they're total shapeshifters. They can actually squeeze through the walls of blood vessels to go hunt down any unwelcome invaders. And their mission is crystal clear: seek and destroy. They are constantly on patrol, fighting off germs. They literally eat invading microbes. They clean up the mess after an infection, and they even produce antibodies, which help build your body's long-term defense system.
Pretty cool, huh? So what happens if there's a leak in the system, like a cut? Well, that's where the platelets jump into action. The moment a blood vessel gets damaged, these tiny cell fragments get the signal and rush to the scene. They pile up and create a plug, a clot, that stops the bleeding and kicks off the healing process. I mean, without them, even a tiny paper cut could be a real disaster.
All right, we've met the trains, we've met the passengers and crew, but what's actually powering this whole metro system? Well, let's head over to the central station and the power plant, all rolled into one, your absolutely incredible heart. And it's probably not what you'd imagine. It's not some giant, sprawling machine. Your heart is this ridiculously powerful muscle that's only about the size of your own clenched fist. And it just works, tirelessly, every single second of your life.
So the heart's four chambers work together in this perfect, rhythmic sequence. The right side of the heart takes in all the used-up, deoxygenated blood from the body and gives it a powerful push to the lungs to get an oxygen refill. Then, the left side of the heart welcomes that fresh, oxygen-rich blood back and pumps it with incredible force out to the rest of the body.
And here's where the design is just brilliant, a perfect example of form following function. The atria, the two chambers at the top, they're just receiving blood. Their walls are thinner because all they have to do is give the blood a little nudge down to the ventricles below. But the ventricles, oh, they have these thick, powerful, muscular walls because they're the ones that have to blast that blood out with serious force, either to the lungs or to your entire body.
So we have the power, we have the trains. What's next? We need the tracks. So now let's check out the massive network of blood vessels, the tunnels and roadways that carry blood to literally every single corner of your body.
Our network really has two main types of tracks. First, you got arteries. These are the big highways carrying high-pressure blood away from the heart. That's why they have thick, elastic walls to handle all that force. Then you have the veins. They carry the lower-pressure blood back towards the heart. Their walls are much thinner, and they're usually the ones you can see just under your skin.
But what about all the local stops, the little side streets? That's the job of the capillaries. These things are microscopic, so incredibly narrow that blood cells have to squeeze through in single file. And this is where the real magic happens. This is the spot where the actual exchange takes place. Oxygen and nutrients get dropped off to the cells, and all the waste products get picked up for removal.
So it turns out this whole metro system is actually running on two main lines, or loops, that work together. You've got the pulmonary line, which is a short little express route from the heart to the lungs and back again. Its only job is to get that blood gassed up with oxygen. Then you've got the systemic line. That's the huge, long-distance route that takes all that fresh, oxygenated blood from the heart to absolutely everywhere else in the body and back.
Now, this system is amazingly resilient. But, just like any complex network, things can sometimes go wrong. So let's take a quick look at a couple of common issues that can pop up when the system breaks down. So let's start with our little oxygen couriers, the red blood cells. What do you think would happen if you just didn't have enough of them? Or what if the ones you had weren't working quite right?
Well, the result is a condition called anemia. And to put it simply, it just means your body's cells are being starved of oxygen. The delivery service is failing. Your body isn't getting the fuel it needs, and that's exactly why the biggest symptoms are feeling weak and tired all the time. Another really common issue is hypertension, which you probably know as high blood pressure. This is basically when the heart is pumping too hard, putting way too much constant strain on the walls of those arteries. Over time, all that extra pressure can damage the vessels and even the heart itself, and that can lead to some really serious health problems.
So when you think about it, from the tiniest, almost invisible capillary to the mighty, powerful heart, this entire system is working tirelessly for you. Every moment of every day. It's literally your lifeline. And that just leaves us with one final question to think about. Looking at this amazing, intricate network, what's one thing you can do today to help keep your own internal metro system running smoothly? Thanks so much for joining this explainer.